Safeties on the line from Rivals, thewolverine.com, talking up Michigan football. Of course, they've been on the field for just about a week here into fall practice, probably just putting on the pads. Mm-hmm. So Clayton, I would say that if we took a poll among Michigan fans and asked, okay, who's the best offensive player on the team, we would get a lot of running backs, wide receivers, because that's where the mindset is. But those guys up front are extremely important. And Zack Zinter might be the best player on this offense.
Yeah, how about that? Josh Gaddis saying that he's potentially the best player on offense. And for those that aren't too familiar, because Zack Zinter as well hasn't played a ton of football. He got to start a couple games last season because of other guys getting injured. But he's a kid who early enrolled last season, got sent home after a couple months, like the rest of the students at Michigan due to the pandemic, didn't have a spring ball, comes back in the summer. This is a freak of nature when it comes to the weight room and everything like that. He came in, and when we saw him in some of those snaps that he had last season, he was extremely impressive. He's kind of got that road grader type, mentality, that mean streak in him on the field. He's a nice kid off the field, but that mean streak in him when he's playing on the interior of the offensive line. And then he's just done everything right this offseason. He shed 14 pounds down to 320. So maybe some of that baby weight, if he had any of it, because he is such a strong guy. And like we said, Josh Gaddis said he might be their best offensive player. I would say at this point, I'd go with Hassan Haskins. I thought he was the most valuable player on the entire team last season. Really the only guy on offense that was consistent and that was actually, consistently productive. I guess you could put Ronnie Bell maybe in that category at wide receiver. But to hear that is huge. Zinter is, a lock to start on the offensive line, but they don't know exactly where they're going to put him. It could be guard, it could be center, depending on who else kind of stands out. So he's got some flexibility. I would think you'd want to make that decision probably in the next 10 days or so before you're, week or two heading into the first game. But right now they're, Josh Gaddis, Jim Harbaugh said that they are going to kind of see how everything shakes out and try to find the best five. But some great news that you have a guy on the interior, especially a guy this young, that you can really rely on.
Yeah, and it's just another point that makes the offensive line unique, that in other positions you would just say, okay, there's our number one corner. We just push him into the side. We know what we got there, and now we got to figure everything else out. But because of the offensive line having to work together, right, there's a guy like Zack Zinter who, okay, we got to figure out who else is good enough to be on the field and where are they going to be competent, because we know we can move him around and he's going to be really good wherever. So we got to figure out the other four and where their best positions are, because most likely he's going to be fine wherever we put him.
Right. It is interesting. And Jim Harbaugh at Big Ten Media Day was kind of taking us through the scenarios. He said, if Andrew Vastardis, who's came back for his sixth season this year, using that extra year of eligibility, if he's fine at center, then they're going to go with Zack Zinter at right guard, which is where he played last season. Now, if they feel that he's not up to par and Zack Zinter could move over, then you insert another guy at guard, or you could move Andrew Stuber over from right tackle down to guard and insert another guy at tackle. It'd be Trente Jones or Carson Barnhart. So there's so many moving pieces with this offensive line. I thought last season was interesting because, so many guys were hurt. Jalen Mayfield, who's now on the Atlanta Falcons, was hurt for the majority of the year. Ryan Hayes was hurt for the majority of the year. Both your tackles. So to get these guys healthy and then find the best five is going to be crucial. Also, you have a first-year offensive line coach in Sharon Moore, who's moving over from tight ends coach. Played the position at Oklahoma, but it's a different beast when talking about coaching it. So I think that's another storyline to watch. Can he get these guys in the right position? Can he get them playing the right technique? It's such an important position. I've heard several college coaches say in the past that having a good offensive line coach is the most important assistant coaching job on the team. They obviously coach 5 guys that are on the field on offense, so it's huge. And I think Sharon Moore can do it. He's kind of a guy that's risen pretty quickly in the business, but until we see it, there's still going to be kind of that question mark out there.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. I don't think there's any question he is the most important assistant coach, just because there's so many variables to having 5 guys, and because they have to work together more than any other position group, and the combination, getting that right and not just saying, oh, there's the 5 best players. Let's throw them out there. And I go back to something I heard from an NFL poll that was taken of personnel people and general managers when they're trying to project who is going to be good the next season. You know, what teams are on the rise or what teams are going to falter. After looking at starting quarterbacks, they look at offensive line play and who has their offensive lines coming back that had good offensive lines. And that's the second thing they look at.